What's going on, YouTube? My name's Trey Kepsel, and this is Elk Motorsports. Alright y'all, in this video we're going to be pulling the cylinder head off the Suzuki Samurai, so let's get to it. Well guys, I'm about to show y'all the reason why I actually love the 1.3 liter that comes stock in the Suzuki Samurai so much. Because it will run with the most obscure circumstances. Now, I'll just let y'all try to guess what I'm talking about. Remember how we said cylinder number 2 was the one that had the poor blow-by? Well, there's the cause of it. I guess it wasn't a blown head gasket after all. It was just a blown up ring landing. And to go along with that blown up ring landing, if you come over here to cylinder number 2, the combustion chamber, there's no damage whatsoever. There's no signs of any piece of metal that was rattling around or anything. I mean, it's completely just unmarred. I mean, if you look at all the other cylinders, all the other combustion chambers, they're all fine. They all look the same. They all show the same amount of wear. If anything, cylinder number 3 looks a little lean. Not even really. They're all the same. No bits and pieces of metal were jumping around and banging around anything, so it's really peculiar. Usually whenever you have a chunk of metal that big missing, you would think it had to have rattled around and done something. I'll have to take this turbo apart. Look at the turbine house, look at the turbine blade, see if it's chewed up, missing any bits and pieces. But that'll be another video, another day. Well guys, working through the wee hours of the evening and pulled that cylinder head off, and I was checking out this head gasket, looking around for a part on here that was blown out on cylinder number 2, and I didn't see anything. Like, this was the thing that I went to first, convinced it was a cylinder head gasket, because I mean, you would think the motor wouldn't make any power with a chunk of the piston missing, but I looked at this and I started looking at the motor and I was just like, whoa, I'm missing a piece of a piston. So my misfortune will aid in the channel and help you guys out, because now we are actually going to pull the rest of that motor out and we're going to take the whole thing apart. I'm going to check out the walls of cylinder number 2, make sure they're not all destroyed or marred, mic it up, see what size piston I need, pull that turbo housing apart. I was going to Cerakote anyway, so I'm just going to check out the turbine blade, see if it's missing any chunks out of it, and if it's not, that's just peculiar. I mean, that piece of metal had to have gone somewhere. And I don't have a catalytic converter anymore. Whenever I did the turbo kit, I deleted it, so, and my muffler is a MagnaFlow, it's a straight through design, so I mean, that piece of metal you would think would come out the other end of the tailpipe and it would have just destroyed all kinds of things on the way out. But as you can see, cylinder number 2 combustion chamber is completely untouched. And that's a big piece of metal. That's really big. You would think it would have chewed up a valve, it would have done something. So I had mentioned in previous videos that the overheating issue was long before the turbo. I have run motors so hot that I've melted a piston, like a hole through the piston, and I've seen a glob of metal in the crankcase. You know, like I've seen it. I've seen the residue. Thankfully, it never didn't land on anything else. I was actually able to rebuild that motor. I had to replace, it was on a motorcycle, I had to replace the cylinder wall and the cylinder head. I was able to reuse the crank. I put, I think I put 2 new pistons in it, all new rings. Reused all the original bearings for the crankshaft and the connecting rods, reused the connecting rods, and it worked out just fine. So we'll see how much of this we can salvage. The next video we'll disassemble that cylinder head, get it prepped for the machine shop, get them to check it out, make sure everything's good to go there, and we'll disassemble the whole motor. We're just gonna take the whole thing apart. I mean, I'll check out the connecting rods, I'll check out the other pistons, I'll check out the crank. I might even change out the crank, because I told y'all guys that I have a groove worn into the back end of that crankshaft that's causing my oil leak. You know what? I gotta pull the motor apart. I might just replace the crank too, just so that way I don't have any oil leaks. You know, maybe we'll just go from square one. I don't know yet. I'll pull it out and I'll see how I feel. But that does it for this video. Big surprise to me and to you guys, I'm pretty sure. We're pretty sure it was a head gasket, but It's all good. We'll get it fixed. If this was content that you enjoyed watching, be sure to hit that like button. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel so that way you can stay up to date on what I've got going on in the shop. And I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.